Kelly, welcome to the Intentional Household podcast. We're so happy to have you here. For those who aren't familiar with Sage Haus, can you explain what it is and how you support households and families?
Sure. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I'm very, very excited to be here. My name's Kelly Hubbell. Yes, I'm the founder of Sage Haus, and we help busy families find more support in their home. And what we really focus on specifically is what we refer to as house managers. Some people call them family assistants, but really it's a new category outside of just nannies and childcare or just someone like a house cleaner or a housekeeper. And it's really providing more versatile, holistic help for families who need it. So that's really what we do is we help people find the right fit. And then we also help them create systems around successfully onboarding that person into their home so that they can truly start to offload much of the mental load that they are carrying to manage their day-to-day.
When you mention systems, it just gets me so excited because I love talking about systems. So that's something that I'm excited to dig into a little later. You mentioned that you help busy families, busy households. Is there like a particular type of family that you help, whether they have, multiple kids, or is it as few as one kids? Can you just tell us more about the type of families you support?
Sure. Yeah. We work with families kind of all across the board. So many with kids who are dual income working households. We work with people who are dual income, no kids, who travel a lot for work and need more hands in their home to help with pet care and plant care and meal prep and all of that good stuff. We work with a lot of families who work outside of the home. So physicians and lawyers and people who are finding themselves either in like a back to work scenario and back in office, or they're just out of their home and they really need the help inside of their home to keep it going. So really like all sorts of different types of people and families that we work with.
I love how you mentioned pet care in particular, because I think a lot of people, they may get a new dog and not realize all of the work that's involved. And it may not occur to them that they may have someone in their household already who can help to support the pet care and provide them with love and comfort as well. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Would you say there's a common thread that brings people to you?
The common thread is people who are feeling like they want to reclaim their time. They want to reclaim their energy and spend their time in different ways than they're spending it today. And so those who are really realizing that their time is valuable and there are very limited hours in the day, even with two very highly intentioned partners, for example, in a household, there just aren't enough hours in the day to get it all done. And so really the common thread is people wanting to get their nights back and their weekends back instead of staying up late, folding laundry or meal prepping for the next day or doing all the things that it takes to keep a household running. So really it's more of like a realization from people that, wow, there's a lot of things that they're doing that they could offload and someone else could support them with.
I follow your newsletter. And in one of the recent newsletters that you sent out, it was talking about the vacation that you had gone on and you left early because you have 3 young children. You didn't have any support with you. You didn't have childcare support. You didn't have household support. And you received a lot of hate for that. And I mean, I feel you so much because when I relocate from my household and I go elsewhere, it does mean that I'm on my own. I don't have the typical help that I have to support me. And it is very challenging. So I feel you so much on that. But there were a lot of haters. And so for the listeners who feel otherwise or haven't built their village of support yet, why would you say that reclaiming our time as parents is one of the most important things that we can do?
Yeah, well, it's funny that you bring that up. There were a lot of supporters and there were a lot of haters across the board from that like sort of personal share that ended up going very viral. But really, yeah, for our family, and just to address like that specific scenario was, um, we were. It's a lot. It's a lot to travel with kids, especially young kids. Mine are 6, 4, and 2. And it's a lot to be just out of your environment and away from the support systems that you have. In this particular
Hmm.
situation, we were staying near a lake. There were a lot of water hazards. I have, again, like really young kids, and it any moment that I couldn't see my child, I felt like really anxious about their safety. And so in that respect, in that regard, it's challenging to single parent to even have a 2-on-3 type scenario because kids are running in different
Yeah.
directions. And so having support like a childcare or an extra set of hands, when you're in a different place and you're an hour from a grocery store, that requires a lot of preparation in terms of like meal planning. And, they have different things to eat there. So like, what are my kids going to eat this week? And then preparing that food. And how am I also preparing food and doing laundry and doing all of the things to keep our kids healthy and happy, and also watching them all near a body of water, right? Like it's a lot on parents to
Yeah.
sort of be away from these systems. So really, like, I was just sort of shedding light on that. I think the mental load can be different for lots of
Yeah.
different parents, depending on like what they're doing and what environment, what situation they're in. But that being said, I think what's going on vacation and being away from our systems is a really good reminder to me of why we have them. And so to answer your question around like, why do parents need these systems and why should they invest in them? And that is because it is such a peace of mind and really like relief from this constant to-do list and constant mental load and the physical and mental tasks that we are doing all day long, and instead really being able to be present in whatever it is we're doing, being able to be present in the conversation I'm having with you right now because I'm not thinking about my grocery list, being able to have more physical time but also like headspace to further our career if that's what we're interested in, spend time with our kids in the very few hours of the day that we are at work and school and activities, doing what brings us joy, carving out time to exercise or meet up with friends and really like fill our bucket. So I think that, especially with parents, like we can get stuck, kind of sucked into this. It's all for the kids. We're parenting right now. We're super heads down, and we can live like that for a while. But what I've seen is frankly is like parent burnout. And like, we heard from the US Surgeon General last year about how parental burnout is at its highest that it's ever been. And that is because parents are not, they don't have that village. They aren't asking for help in the same way. They're burning the candle at both ends to make it all work. And that's like what I'm really trying to not only change, but normalize across the board is in helping people really like wrap their head around it's okay for parents to get the support they deserve.
Yeah, I love it and fully agree and love everything that you are saying around that. I think if we relate our households or our families to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if we are stuck in the bottom tier every day dealing with food and managing the household, we can no longer focus on the other tiers like our own self-esteem, our relationships with ourself, our partner, our kids, our friends, growing as an individual and setting and achieving goals. It's so hard to do that when we haven't dealt with the bottom most important level of the physiological needs. So once we're able to get that support and have someone help us with that and take care of it, then we can achieve so much more as not only a parent or a mom, but as an individual. And I think a lot of parents, moms especially, get caught in being just a mom. But there's so much more to us that we can realize. So I want to talk about your latest offering, the home systems. Can you explain what it is and what is included in it?
Yes, yes. So really the home systems, which is a digital course and playbook that's delivered in Notion. For those who are familiar or unfamiliar, it's kind of like a Google Docs. You get this template from us that basically has all of the home systems framework that you need, and we get you 95% of the way there, and you do the last 5%. What it is it really came about because there were two types of solutions and two types of kind of clients that we were working with that needed support from us. One was a client who needed to find the right fit for their family. Like they needed to find their modern Mary Poppins unicorn house manager. And then once they found that person, they needed to be able to trust that this person could take over the management of their household in a way that they was trusted, reliable, consistent. And so what the home systems piece is something that all of our clients who work with us at Sage Haus get when they sign up for our hiring services. So it comes standard with our hiring services as an onboarding tool for them to brain dump everything in their head about how they're running their home, their laundry schedules, their meal schedules, their to-do lists, daily, weekly, monthly, seasonal lists of things to do. All of it is basically a massive brain dump on how you run your household or how you ideally want to run your household so that you can give this playbook to the person that you trust in your home. Or I've even had couples use it just for them, just to align on delegation across their household and use it in a way that is like the structure and the backbone of this is how we run our home. And this is how we can expect a new house manager or family assistant or a nanny to take on these responsibilities. And so that's really what it is it's a framework and templates that allow you to brain dump everything and then share it and collaborate with a support person in your home to take over that load.
That's so great because kind of like you said, individuals may hire their person and then it's kind of like, now what? Okay, so now I have to implement these systems. And one thing that for anyone who has done a Kolbe A, it helps to determine the individuals who are highly systemized versus maybe not. And so there are some people who it is just not their strength to create systems. And it may not also be like, maybe they just don't have time, right? Maybe it is their strength, but they're like, I am so busy, I don't have the time to create their systems. I would love to, but I don't have the time. So I love how they can use this framework. It's spelled out for them, like you said, 95% of the way. And it sounds like it's kind of plug and play.
Yes, it is. It's super plug and play. So it's a 2-hour course that basically I walk through exactly what to do, how to think through things, and how to get started. And one of the things that I speak to in the course and highly recommend is actually having the person you hire or having the person in your home already that's supporting you, like a nanny, having them actually help you to develop the system and set up the system because they likely know your household enough or they can take the direction enough to set up your system. For example, part of our feeding the family system in our home systems is all about how are we thinking about feeding the family this week? When are we going to plan for meals, shop for food, do the actual cooking or meal prep? And then what is like the schedule for the week to do that? But then deeper than that, it's like, what are the standing things we need in our pantry, in our refrigerator, in our freezer, and the same goes for household goods. Like, what are the standing lists that we need just to like exist as a family? And doing that one time, imagine making your grocery list one time and then having it be a living list so that someone, your house manager, family assistant, whoever, or you on the weekends or whenever can go to this list and quite literally look at it, see what you have, see what you need, check it off, and then you just simply clear it the next time you need to go do that, right? Like that is a system in itself. That should be you set it up Sure, you add things to it as your preferences change, but that is something that like I never want my clients to make a handwritten grocery list. Like to me, that is not a good use of their time. That is something that we can systemize.
I love this. Gets me so excited because I could see myself using it and just being like, wow, we have a system for everything and everyone is involved who needs to be involved. It gets me so excited. So, beyond the food system, can you just describe some other systems in the household that are included in this?
Yeah. So beyond the feeding the family system, we've got a keeping the house clean system. And so the way to think about that is there's a lot of elements, right, that come into keeping the house clean. One is laundry. That's a really big task. So having a schedule around like how and when is the laundry getting done? When is kids laundry getting done? When is adult laundry getting done? When are all the hand towels getting washed from all of the bathrooms? When are the towels? When are the sheets? Is the bedding? When are the blankets on the couch? When are your dog beds? All of it needs to like be on a rotation of laundry. So like creating a schedule for that. That's an example of a system. Another one is just like home reset best practices. So, we offer basically like a gallery that's set up within our home systems template where you can take a picture of your living room, your playroom, your primary bedroom, and say, this is how I like my room set. So like when we tidy spaces every day, which is many times the role of a house manager, family assistant, this is our standard of care. And this is like the standard by which we like things reset in our home. Think about how nice that is for someone who is now stepped into your home. Now they know exactly how you want something done. They know exactly how you want the pillows put back. They know exactly how want, toys put away and what goes where. So that's another one of those. And then cleaning, of course. So I would say the majority of the clients we work have cleaners, but there's a lot of prep work that has to happen before cleaners come. Bedding needs to be washed. Things need to be picked up. So it's also like, okay, what is a checklist for a pre-cleaners checklist? And then in between when the cleaners are coming, thinking through like, what is our system for Monday through Sunday of things that happen between the cleaners? We're still wiping counters between cleaners, right? We're still vacuuming high traffic areas between cleaners. Like we're still doing things like that. And so that's another example of a system is keeping the house clean. And then our last system is like plants and pet care. So that's like another system in itself of thinking through like who else in this household needs to be taken care of? What is their schedule for eating and grooming and exercising? And how often do plants need to be watered and other things that you're caring for in your home? So it seems like when I say it all out loud, it seems overwhelming because it is like, and that's what we're holding in our head. We're literally holding all of those things that I just rattled off
Yes.
in our brain. And so the moment that we like get it on our brain and into a system, a paper, a digital system, which is what we offer, like now it's out of your brain. Now somebody else can do it the way you want it done.
And you've now freed up all that space in your brain to focus on other things. And I know you said it sounds overwhelming, yes, there are so many components to the household, but it sounds to me that this is self-paced. So anyone can start on any sort of system that they would like and chip away at it on their own time. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yes. Our course is self-paced. You could just pick one system and start there. Like I tell people, I'm like, usually it's food. Food is pretty important. We have to have that. So like, we can live with our messy counters and having it, but food is like, top of the list. So it's like, okay, let's figure out your food system and start there.
And then just work on one system at a time and then chip away at the rest at your own pace.
Yeah.
I also love this because, as one family may have a house manager or a nanny or anyone who supports them, that person may not be there forever. And as that person leaves and they now need to train a new person, which can also be time consuming, feel overwhelming, then they can use this. Essentially, it sounds like they can hand it over and it's like, okay, you could hit the ground running and start.
Exactly. Yes. This is a living, breathing system. And we encourage, we encourage our clients to ensure that this system is being updated on, we say at least every 6 months. So every 6 months, go back in, make sure the system is still like, truthful to your routines, and have things changed? Are you guys, in a new like school routine or work routine now? And like, is this still relevant? And checking it like that. But yes, I mean, the goal is like, having support for 2, 3, 5 years, and then, having a new person come in, they're going to be able to see all of this and have the record of like, these are the systems in place, and like really be able to hit the ground running. And so, yeah, you bring up a really good point, which is the beauty of a system is that it continues on even after somebody leaves.
I have to say, I'm fully sold on this, and I plan to buy it because I want to do this for my household. It sounds incredible and like the most impactful tool that I think a family or household could use.
Totally agree.
What would you say to the mom who thinks this won't work for my family?
Yeah, I would say to that person just to give it a try and see what you think. I would just say start small, give it a shot. I would also say that if it does feel overwhelming, maybe it's time for you to find some support. So really like find someone to help you build out these systems and maintain these systems, because I think that really that is like a huge part of the overwhelm is like thinking, oh no, I'm doing this all myself. Our goal is not to make you feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough and now I need to like spend all this time documenting it. It's really to like ultimately put in the investment so that you can start to take things off of your plate. Getting that like peace of mind that you get after you literally never think about groceries ever again. Like ever again, you're not thinking about like what is in my pantry, what's in my fridge, what's there and what's not there. Frees up brain space that can be used for so many other things. And so I would just say, like, try it out, see what you think. I have yet to work with a client who has either found someone through Sage Haus and or used our home systems and said, oh, I never really needed this. Or, oh yeah, we hired someone, but like, I'm not really getting a lot of value from it, right? Like it's actually the exact opposite, where they're now like doubling down and they're trying to give more to this person and create more systems to give them. So really like offload more things off their plate, because once you get a taste of what it's like just something that you know that you need.
If I heard it correctly, I think you referenced this. It's like, if it's too overwhelming for you to even do this, then maybe getting the support from someone else to help you complete this. Like someone who maybe it's your partner or maybe it's higher support, but if you aren't the person to be putting everything down into the playbook, maybe there is someone else who's better suited to do it.
Exactly.
In the work that you've done helping families, whether it's helping them find a family assistant or a prep chef cook or using the home systems, is there one client who's had a really great transformation that you would, and a great story that you would be willing to share?
Oh my gosh. It's hard to pick one. There's so many. We work with lots of different families. One family in particular has 6 kids. They live in Michigan. The dad is a oral surgeon and travels a lot for work, and, is really wanting to spend as much time as possible when he is home from work with his kids and like really connecting with his wife and spending time with them. And so we ended up finding them a house manager, and I connected with the mom a couple months after. And basically she said to me, like, you have changed our life. I don't know how we were surviving for so long without this support. And she said for the first time in 12 years, she had finally signed up to run a half marathon and do something for herself. And she hired a running coach, and she was just feeling like, a person again. She was feeling like she was doing something for herself. And that like almost brought me to tears because I was just so happy for her. I know exactly how she felt. And then there's another family who, like very, very tragically, he lost his wife last fall in like a very sudden sort of incident. And he was like really lost. Like, I don't know how to get the support that my family needs because my wife did all of this stuff that you're, talking about, like all the household management, all the, meal prep and
Mm-hmm.
childcare and laundry. And she was a teacher. She worked, and their family was just feeling really, really off just in terms of like not having that stability and consistency and routine. And we found like the most amazing fit for their family to help come step in and start to provide them with the reliable, consistent care that they needed, especially during like a very tough sort of grieving process for their family. So yeah, so many good stories, but really, the work that we're doing is incredibly fulfilling and just helping other families get the support that they need, that they've deserved for so long, but they just didn't really know was available to them.
Yeah, like you said, we all deserve it, right? And sometimes it's just not realized until you find the support and you're like, wow, that was a long time coming, but I'm going to embrace my free time now. And I love with your example with the like that very tragic with the mom passing away, but similar, but not as serious. It's just having someone there is a great safety net so that the mom in the household can step away, whether it's for work or a vacation with her girlfriends. I have one coming up and I know that I don't have to worry. I can leave the household and it's still running without me. And so that's another really just amazing way for the household to be able to, the household and the family to enjoy and utilize the support. So it's not relying solely on one member who's keeping it together.
Yes, totally. Couldn't agree more. Absolutely. It's really dispersing the responsibilities across another adult and responsible set of hands that can help. And that is really, I mean, I know for my own example, my husband travels a lot for work. And so having an extra set of hands during the week for pickups and, bedtime routine and getting everybody out the door, like, I mean, it's a challenge to do it by yourself, and you certainly can do it, but there are, having this support is just like, it's healthy and it's amazing.
Kelly, thank you so much for being here and for this chat. I love talking all about bringing in household support and creating and implementing systems in the household. I think we all need support, and the systems really allow the household to thrive. So thank you for coming and chatting about it. And lastly, for someone who's listening right now and who feels like they are barely holding it together, what is the first step that they should take to make change?
Thank you for having this conversation. I think the more we have these conversations, the more parents are really finally finding that permission that they need to ask for help and find the support that they need. So I appreciate that you're having these conversations. What I would say is start with, I've got a free quiz on my website that you can answer 7 questions. And the result of that is basically like a tailored custom suggestion for what are some things you could do. And you get a free download of 100 tasks that you can delegate. So it gives you ideas on things that you can start to take off of your plate. And I would say start there, start small, do a couple of things that are earning you back minutes and hours in your day. So I would say you can start there. I also have, for those people who have a nanny or a caregiver of some kind, but are thinking about transitioning them into more of that household manager systems oriented role, I've got a free download called How to Transition Your Nanny into House Manager. So those are both free resources and available to your community. And I would just say start small and go from there.
I love it. Small, bite-sized pieces. And we will include those links for listeners to access. So thank you again, Kelly.
Thanks for having me.